Yeah, for sure.
You have no idea.
How are the Seahawks going to do this year? They had a good season last year with Geno Smith. Are they going to be able to keep it going?
I mean, you guys already know. Is that a real question?
Yeah, of course. They're going to be great.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But it's great to see you here tonight. Who are you excited to see get put in? Obviously, Jose Aldo sort of leading the way. We're really excited to see him get in the Hall of Fame.
Jose Aldo is incredible. I mean, I love all these guys. It's hard to even pick one. But I would also like to give a big shout out to Jens Pulver because we're from the Pacific Northwest, and I knew him like way back before either of us were really doing anything that any of you cared about. So it's great to see him get inducted. You know, he was such a big part of that initial movement for his weight class, and I'm excited.
What are you looking back at there? You had a fight schedule. What's the latest now?
I'm hoping to fight in October. I have requested that. So we'll see about an October date.
You requested them come to Seattle. They got that new arena with the Kraken and everything. They haven't been back in forever.
You know what? They came there one time, and it was in the summer, and I knew that was going to be the biggest mistake because nobody in Washington State wants to be indoors
on the lake, right?
On a nice summer day because we barely get any of that. It's all rain. So I'm like, you got to go in the fall or the winter, and then people will be there. Because I know there's a lot of hardcore fans. It's just like, I mean, you got to choose between a nice enjoyable day out on the water or being cooped up inside, which we are 90% of the year anyways.
Just last one for me. I know you're friends with Julianna Pena. She's been getting in the news a lot because of some of the trash talk with Amanda Nunes. I know you've been a pretty respectful opponent in your career. What do you make of her trash talk?
I think she's speaking from the frustration in her. And I know that she can be a very polarizing character, and some people love her, some people hate her, but at least you care. And I think that's what she's trying to make a difference. She's trying to make you care. And, you know, when you see her booing at Amanda's retirement, you know, I haven't spoken to her in depth, but this is just my perception and like what I assume she's thinking is that she's trying to get anything, like get in Amanda's ear and get that fight. You know, I think the balls, the cojones on Julianna Pena are unmeasurable. Like, she's just so bold, and she wants that fight, so she's going to try to stir the pot and see if she can get any little glimmer of hope, right? And, I mean, I don't think you can really blame her. I mean, there's not only the legacy, but the money, too. I mean, that's a huge money fight, and she broke her ribs. Like, it just sucks. So could you imagine, like, if you put yourself in her shoes, like, you'd be pissed too. Like, wait, that was my opportunity.
Though, wouldn't it make sense for her to call out someone like Holly? Holly's still a pretty big name in the division. I say you and Holly are the two biggest names in the division. You guys aren't fighting each other, obviously, you and Julianna. But I kind of wonder, would she not focus more on Holly? Because that's a big fight, and they've never fought each other.
I think at some point she will. Yeah. We'll see how Holly does in this upcoming fight. Yeah, if she's fighting Silva. So if she wins and she becomes that person that's really a viable contender, I mean, eventually Julianna will shift her focus and she'll be laser dialed into whoever it is that she's fighting. But I can't blame her for wanting to seal her legacy, because I think that third fight with Amanda for her was bigger than, you know, of course I mentioned money and I mentioned this, but legacy is a big part of that too. So I can kind of understand it. You know, she has her own unique way of approaching that. It's different than mine, but I understand why she's frustrated.
It is looking like it's going to be Raquel Pennington and Julianna for the title. You're obviously familiar with both of them. What are your thoughts on that hypothetical matchup?
Well, gosh, I've trained a lot with Julianna Pena more earlier in our careers, and she is a spitfire. I mean, I think you guys saw that best on display when she fought Amanda. But I think she's always been very underestimated. She's an amazing, amazing ground game. And her striking, people don't appreciate it because it doesn't look pretty. But a lot of times pretty isn't hard enough in women's MMA. Like, you got to hit hard, and you got to do it. You got to do it with everything that you have in order for it to make that knockout kind of difference. And she hits way, way, way harder than anybody would anticipate, you know, because she looks wild and crazy and off balance. But it's hard to find somebody to mimic that at the same time, because everybody wants to be so perfect. So I like that she makes it messy. I like that she makes it a little crazy. I like that people underestimate her style. And then, you know, with Raquel, she's clean. Her boxing, her hands, everything's very clean. And I swear that her like lower body is like filled with like concrete or something, because I've trained with her before too, and and obviously I fought her. And I definitely don't think I wasn't at my best when I fought her, but she's so hard to move. Like, she's just like a tree. She's just planted in the ground. So I think it would be tough for Julianna to take her down, but it'll be exciting to see, I think. It was a good fight, yeah.
You shared the cage with the GOAT, Amanda Nunes, or GWOAT, Amanda Nunes. I mean, when you look back at that fight, do you sometimes, is that one? It's like, well, I wish I would have gotten that one because look what Amanda did. Or is it like, it happened. I'm glad I got to say I was in there with the best.
I think I can't look at it and wish that it would be any different than it was, because that was the start of Amanda's legacy, and I don't value my legacy over anybody's. I really don't. So, she's been fantastic. She's been inspirational in her own ways, and she has a second child on the way. She's done incredible things. So I'm glad she got her fairy tale ending, and I'm still working on mine. The sky is the limit. Not even. Like, there is no limit. That's a dumb phrase. Take that one back. No, you can leave it in there. It's okay. I say dumb things sometimes. But honestly, I'm still here, and I just want people to know that I'm still present in the bantamweight division, and I think one good win that I could maybe at least drop my name in the hat as a contender. My last 2 fights were a really dominant win, and then a close loss to a top 5 ranked Ketlin Vieira. And so why not? If another good win, top 10 girl, and okay, well, maybe I can at least be part of the conversation.
Are there any fights that you're looking forward to seeing this weekend at UFC 290?
I mean, how could we not be excited for Volkanovski and Yair Rodriguez? I've got to say that's one I'm really looking forward to. I think Yair Rodriguez is such an amazing, creative, impactful striker. And I don't know where you find a training partner to mimic Yair Rodriguez. I really don't, because I don't ever see people that move I don't even think he knows how to move like himself. He's just there and present, and he's got that flow state. So I'm excited to see him fight, and obviously Volkanovski has blown the lid off of so many people's expectations so many times before, and he's really durable. So if anybody can take, if he does get hit, he's somebody that can take that. But
so you mentioned a clear outcome for that, a clear winner?
Well, I think if it goes anywhere near a decision, I'm definitely going Volkanovski. But I do not at all underestimate the knockout ability that Yair has. I don't see Yair winning a decision, because I just think I haven't seen anybody been able to do it. And if Volkanovski can take your best shot or move through it, you're going to be in trouble. I just doesn't matter who you are.
So you mentioned pioneers, you mentioned Jens Pulver, and you are a pioneer of women's MMA and part of the women's movement in mixed martial arts. You went to the sport with just a wrestling base, and now women's MMA is just on par with men's MMA. What do you see for the next generation? Did you ever fathom that the sport would grow the way it did, and you helped build that sport?
No, there's no way. When I started, and when I first started, I don't even think people were asking about women's MMA being a part of the UFC. And then people started asking, and Dana was like, never. It was never going to happen. We will never see. So it's been a long journey. And I mean, no, there's no way. I couldn't have been, I couldn't have even imagined really being in the UFC when I first started, because it wasn't possible. Right?
I think the promotion that was Smack Girl, I had VHS tapes of Smack Girl in Japan. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my goodness. So, obviously, your fight's coming up. You're going to still stay active. How active do you plan to be this year and next year?
I want to fight in October, and maybe in the after the new year, probably, right? I'll do October. That's a great time to fight, because then you get to get fat over Thanksgiving, and you get to enjoy, Christmas. And I have kids now too, so of course Christmas is a really special time of year. You get to enjoy the new year, and then back on track.
Awesome. And what advice would you give to the next generation of female combatants that are going to be stepping into the amateurs, going through that system, going through that journey, trying to get to the UFC? What advice would you give them?
I would honestly try to give them the advice that don't be outcome-based, be effort-based, because you will weigh yourself down catastrophizing about what-ifs, and you're not bringing all of you to the octagon or to the cage when you're worried about the worst-case scenario. So go in there and say, I don't care what happens, because if I bring 100% of myself, chances are I'm going to kick some ass.